you've got an incredible amount of support in 2008 from active duty troops who were the candidate in the Republican primary, who got more campaign contributions from active duty soldiers than all of the other candidates put together. I think that was reflected in support from veterans as well. And now in 2012, we're already organizing Veterans for Ron Paul 2012. Very excited about that. And we have a lot of veterans coming in who want to get excited and support the cause. But they have a couple questions very specifically about VA benefits. What's your take on VA benefits and disability benefits for veterans coming home from war? And in terms of what you would do to restructure the military, the size of the military, what could people on active duty expect from a Ron Paul presidency?
You know, I just sort of wished, and don't assume this in a negative way, I wish we had less people that needed help, you know, and if you had a proper foreign policy, you wouldn't have so many veterans to take care of. But I think over the 20-some years I've been in Congress, the only direct vote for an authorization bill has been for veterans, because I think everything else is too excessive. But I've been in the military, I'm a physician, and I was in the 60s. I know about the cases of Agent Orange that people were delayed treatment for, Persian Gulf War syndrome, delayed treatment for. Now it's going to be head injuries. We have hundreds of thousands of people applying for disability. And, you know, there will be some in there that are maybe abusing the system, but think of all the ones that need it. The head injuries and also the excessive use of prescription drugs in the military. They're suffering from this. So no, that should be top priority. But if we had a different foreign policy, we could at least stop the bleeding, so to speak. You know, we just don't need to be policing the world.
What restructuring of the military do you think would take place?
You know, in some ways I used to kid in a way about Rumsfeld. You know, he always talked about a smaller and elite military. I thought, well, you know, that sounds good. You know, if we had an emergency and protect our borders, an elite force, why don't we have a smaller and elite foreign policy? I mean, but he wanted to have an elite military. At the same time, he wanted to expand his warmongering. And look at the mess we're in. I mean, we just get into more and more countries. And both parties have been essentially endorsing the same principles. I mean, we're Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, now Libya, Yemen, Somalia. And, you know, when they have this vague declaration and we are in war or we're against this tactic called terrorism, says that we can go any place, anytime, arrest anybody, try them, or do whatever we want. And as long as that exists, our military is going to be continually drained. And Walter Jones, who works very closely with the military and changed his views on the war, he said the people he visited, the military people, he said they are drained. They might, and you've known a little bit about this yourself, they've been over there several times, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and it's disruptive to their families. You know, just all the family problems that occur, that wouldn't happen. And I think, you know, at first I thought, wow, this is wonderful. I'm sure a little bit surprised. Then I got to thinking, why shouldn't they want a commander-in-chief that's not going to send them into a no-win war? And I thought back when I was in the 60s, and I was on active duty, then I was in this Guard, and it was in 65, and they started talking about escalation. Well, the last thing I wanted was escalation. I wanted to contribute to defending the country, but I didn't want escalation, so there must be a lot of military people. And I bet you it's a small minority who just like war for the sake of war. There's some of those in the military, but I think most of them are in there for the right reason, do their job and want to defend the country. And sometimes they're in for economic reason. I know that's the case because that was part of the reason. I was a resident, I was taking a family, and women go in, unmarried women will go in to help, but they're willing to assume the responsibility, but I don't think they went in and say, well, the likelihood of me going off, you know, and getting shot at in Afghanistan in Iraq when they haven't attacked us, I don't think that was part of the bargain.
Well, I hope as you go forward and get into debates with more of these neocon chicken hawk draft dodgers that you remind them that you're the candidate with the troops on your side. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good to be with you. Okay.